All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Libraries and Weight Rooms podcast. My name is DJ Ligori, and today we're officially on episode number 169. And I have some very exciting news for everybody who has been loyal listeners to this podcast. I'm not going to tell you exactly what is going to be going on over the next couple of weeks, because I'll actually have a whole episode that will explain what is going to be going on. But this podcast is going to be doing a little bit of a transition into more of the work that I am honored and blessed to do with our coaching program that we now have for young men. And you might have heard of it. I know I talk about it a little bit more on like my social media pages, but it's called the Be That Guy program. And we work with guys all the way from typically 18 years old, so kind of like that college freshman age, all the way up into guys who are in their early 30s. All right. So the bulk of it is kind of the guys in their 20s. And we work on things like managing stress, right? It's okay to talk about stress and hard things and anxiety and actually working through them and understanding why we get stressed about certain things. Second piece is confidence, right? How can we build more evidence, get more reps, take more chances, risk a little bit more to actually build our self-image and our confidence as men? And then 3, habits. How can we develop world-class habits and actually track those habits, be disciplined and consistent to those habits? And that is mainly what we work on with these guys. And so this podcast over the next couple of weeks might be doing a little bit something more into that area. Like I said, I'll have a whole episode that'll explain exactly what it is. But I just kind of wanted to foreshadow you a little bit with that information. So I wanted to talk today about what I did yesterday. All right. So yesterday was Veterans Day, and I hope everybody had a great Veterans Day. And I want to say thank you so much to all of the servicemen and women out there who keep us safe, who allow me the opportunity and the freedom to actually do this podcast. So thank you. And what I did yesterday was the Chad workout. And so the Chad workout is a hero WOD for U.S. Navy SEAL Chad Michael Wilkinson. And it's 1,000 box step-ups. And so for those of you who aren't familiar with what a box step-up is, it's literally exactly what you kind of think it is. You step up onto a box, and then you step down from that box, and you alternate your right leg and your left leg, and you do this 1,000 times. And the prescribed version of this workout, you have a vest on, so you can put on either like a 20 or a 40-pound vest, and you do this 1,000 box step-ups and as fast as you can. And so I did mine with a vest. I believe it was a 20-pound vest, and started this workout. And this is one of those workouts where you're like, I'm not going to fly through this thing because it's a lot of reps. So there's a little bit of strategy in how you pace yourself, and there's a little bit of strategy in how slow you come out of the gate versus how fast you come out of the gate. But nonetheless, I decided to do this workout completely silent, so I had no music on. And you go to some pretty interesting places when you have nothing to really distract you, and you're just like doing something for an hour plus of time, and it's the exact same thing over and over and over again. And your mind goes to some very interesting places. And this isn't the main piece that I wanted to talk about today in today's episode, but one thing I highly recommend everybody try in their life is do a workout completely silent. Go for a walk completely silent. Go for a run completely silent. Do a WOD exercise, a HIIT class, yoga. Do it completely silent, because because your mind starts to kind of just go to these very interesting places. And I think it's because we're almost trying to escape the pain a little bit, right? Because we don't want to necessarily focus on the discomfort that's right in front of us, so our mind tries to go like somewhere else. But I highly suggest it, because I think you end up focusing on things that you maybe didn't realize were important. So I remember I used to do this a lot back at home in Rochester, New York. I would go on like these 10-mile runs completely silent in the morning and just see where my mind would go. And I thought about a lot of very interesting things. And specifically what I actually thought about was a lot of the people who weren't here anymore in my life and the impacts that they had on me. And if the work that I was doing, they would be proud of, and the way that I behaved, they would be proud of. And so I don't think I would think of that normally. So I think that's what exercising in silence can really do for you. But the main lesson that I wanted to get at today was, since I had to do 1,000 box step ups, which is a lot of reps, you can think about like the box that I had to step onto, right? It's like a cube and there's 4 sides to this box. What I did was I did 25 step ups per side. So I'd go 25 and then I would rotate to the other side, 25, rotate to the other side, and so on. And basically 1 rep around the whole box was 100 box step ups. And then what I would do is I would write that down on my whiteboard. And so I think we've all heard before, kind of like, if you want to eat an elephant, like what's the best way to eat an elephant? 1 bite at a time, right? If we want to achieve like big goals in our life, sometimes it's hard to just fully grasp how big some of the goals are that we want to achieve. And that's where it becomes overwhelming, because we don't know exactly how to get to the top of the mountain, yet we can maybe just take 1 step up the mountain. And so what I realized was, as I worked through this exercise, I had this big goal of doing 1,000 box step ups, and my goal then became just doing 25 at a time. And even that got a little difficult at times. I was contemplating like, maybe should I just track it to 10, but I decided just to stick with 25, and that ended up working. But what I did was I created a smaller goal and a system to achieve those goals in a organized manner, right? I did 25 on each side, and then I wrote down 100 once I made a full repetition, full kind of around the box. And so I did this 10 times, and I got to say, like, I worked through this pretty well. Like, it wasn't as hard as last year's, and maybe it's just because I got a little bit stronger, maybe physically, maybe mentally. Hey, that would be awesome. But I think I developed a really solid plan, and I knew exactly what it was. I knew exactly how to measure it, and it worked, and I got through it. And so I think as 2025 starts to come up, hopefully we have some goals that we want to achieve in 2025. And frankly, if you don't have any goals that you want to achieve in 2025, then I recommend you stop listening to any content that I ever put out. All right. But nonetheless, if you have some goals that you want to achieve in 2025, first thing, don't wait till 2025. Start doing those goals now. All right. The new year, December 31st into January 1st, just happens to be another day in our lives. It's kind of like our birthday. It's just another day that we then give a certain meaning to, and then everybody goes nuts about it. Now, I'm not trying to downplay New Year's Eve, but what I'm saying is, why not just start the things that you want to do in the new year right now? All right, we got 45 days or so left. And so start these goals that you want to achieve now, and take that goal, right, that big thing that you want to achieve, and break it down into something smaller that you can do each day and you can track. All right, so think about like what I did with the box step ups, right? I tracked the 25 on each side of the box, and then I wrote down the 100. So think about your goal. How can you track a smaller goal on a daily basis that's completely doable, that leads you closer to your big goal? All right. And the important thing when it comes to defining that big goal is have complete clarity of what it looks like when you've achieved that goal. So if it means you want to have a better relationship, make more money, live a healthier life, improve something personally about yourself, what exactly does that mean? And clearly defining that. And so these are things that like I've been working on. Like I have certain numbers of guys I want in our Be That Guy community. I have certain income goals that I want to hit. I have certain personal goals, right? And I'm clearly defining exactly what those are, so that when I hit it, I know I've technically hit that target, right? I've achieved that thing. And human beings, we are teleological beings, which means we operate better with a target. So if we give ourselves a target, we're probably going to move a little bit more efficiently because we know where we could be going, right, to that target. All right. So that's kind of the main thing that I really wanted to hit on today. And this is something that I do every single day. So if you're watching this, and you can watch this on YouTube and Spotify, this, for example, is I just held it up, how I track all of my goals and all of my habits. All right. That is my habit calendar. All right. And so I track certain habits that I want to do every day that lead me closer towards the things that I want. All right. And so you don't have to use a calendar. You can use sticky notes. You can use whiteboards, pieces of paper. You develop your own tracking system. Personally, I recommend the calendar because it's very easy. It's organized. This is the calendar that we use for every single guy that we work with in our Be That Guy community. When it comes to instilling the habits that they want, we all recommend that they get a calendar, and it's so cool. It's getting pictures of all these calendars all the time. All right. So to wrap this up, establish your goal that you want to achieve. And I say just make it one goal just to start out. Think of exactly what that target is, right? Clearly define what it is, and then break it down into something smaller that you can do on a daily basis that does not take you that much time, and then track that goal. all right, because we're visual creatures. All right, I just gave a presentation last weekend about this on consistency and how if we create a visual tracking system around consistency, we'll actually be more consistent because we can see it all, right? We can see the progress we've made and we can see the path that we're going on. That is what I believe actually helps us be a little bit more consistent instead of us trying to remember all of the things that we have to do to be consistent. All right, I like to call this removing your brain. Stop trying to think and remember about the things you want to be consistent and create a visual system to actually track it. All right. So track that small little goal in your pursuit of that bigger one. All right. So I hope that this was valuable. I hope this can help you achieve some more goals prior to 2025 even starting. And if you like this episode, as always, share it to your stories, send it to somebody, give us a like, rating, review, subscribe. Really excited over the next couple of weeks to kind of transition this into the new idea and the new kind of strategy that we have with this podcast. And I think you guys are really going to like it. I think it's going to be very entertaining, and I think it's going to be very relatable to both men and women in their 20s, early 30s, late teens today. All right. So thank you guys so much for your time, your energy, and your attention. Have a great rest of your day and keep doing hard things. We'll see you.